It has officially been 1 year since I started my Etsy digital product shop, and I thought, just like what I did with my first 6 months of selling on Etsy, it would be fun to share with you how much I made in my first full year of selling digital products on Etsy. And like the other video, I'm also gonna break down how much I made every month, but only for the last 6 months. So if you want to see a month-to-month breakdown for the first 6 months, I highly suggest for you to watch this video first and then come back to this video. I also shared my biggest mistakes, what worked best, and gave some advice for new sellers that might be helpful to you in that video. Just a quick recap, in my first 6 months, I made $254.41 in revenue. Also take note that everything will be in Canadian dollars because I am from Canada. After fees, Etsy fees and taxes, the actual money I received in my bank was $153.42. Now, how much did I make in my first year of selling digital products on Etsy? Let's find out. In my first full year of selling digital products, I made $689.71 in revenue. And honestly, I thought I was gonna be making more because my shop started performing in the last 6 months. But then I realized that most of the clip art sold were at a lower price. You know, they were cheaper, mostly single clip arts. It makes sense that I did not end up making a lot. Am I disappointed? Just a little bit, and that's because I was just expecting it to be higher. In total, my shop had 4,631 number of visits, which the first time I saw this, I really wished they converted into sales, but wishful thinking. I had total of 201 orders and 4.3 conversion rate. Let's break that down month by month. So from April 2025 to September 2025. I will also share with you what went well, what didn't, and what I learned from each month. April was actually pretty exciting for me because it felt like things were finally starting to move again. If you are new here, my sales started dropping actually in December. In January, I was still making sales, but February, I didn't make any sales at all. So it was nice that things were starting to move again. And this month, I made $54.15 in revenue. Around this time as well, I really focused on adding more listings that were in demand, and I did notice a little change, but they were not huge. Still, it gave me hope that things were starting to move again. For the month of May, I made $54.86 in revenue. And if we were to compare that with April, it wasn't much of a big difference, even though I sold more items in May because the items that were selling at that time were at a lower price. That's why this month as well was kind of pivotal moment for me because I left the membership course, and the reason for that was I was no longer, basically the main reason I left the course was I was no longer using it and had become complacent, thinking I had something I could just go to anytime I wanted information. But in reality, I ended up not using it at all. I was scared to leave because I thought I was going to be a wreck. I mean, the course was my guiding light into building my Etsy shop, but looking back, I wish I had done it sooner. So June brought $94.19 in revenue, and I was really happy about it because it was one of my highest months so far. And what I did this month was I started listing fall items as well as back to school clip arts. Even though June is usually when the school year ends, turns out these were the main driver of sales for this month. And it goes to show that listing ahead of time really is important and it works. I really thought that June was the month where I would start to see consistent $90 plus sales But unfortunately, in July, I made $63.76 in revenue. So it was a bit lower than June, though it wasn't that bad for my shop. I guess summer months can also be unpredictable because people are not in their house. They're out there doing summer stuff and they're not working on their projects. For August, it bounced back with $96.74 in revenue, which I was, like July, really happy about. I think it helped that I uploaded more listings. I remember I had a goal of listing 20 new products and I was able to upload 13 new ones, which was really great because most of the time, every time I would say, oh, I'm gonna list 20, 22 number of listings every month, I would only be able to list less than 10 items. August was also the month where I started a new way of promoting sales or running a sale. I've actually talked about this in my previous video, but it is where if I know that there was going to be a holiday for the month, I will run a 50 to 60% off of my items for 1 week leading up to that holiday. So for example, for this one specifically, I had, so September 1st was a Labor Day in Canada, and I believe in the US too, but I started to run a 50 to 60% off sale from August 25 to September 1st. And that really, I think, helped with the sale for that month. And finally, September, my 1 year mark, I made $71.60 in revenue. So from April 2025 to September 2025, I made $435.30 in revenue, plus the first 6 months, bringing my total to $689.71 in revenue for the first year. Again, that's just revenue. So now let's find out how much money I received in the bank after the fees and taxes. Here's a breakdown for you all. In the first 6 months, I made $254.41 in revenue minus fees and taxes equals $153.42 in my bank account. And for the last 6 months, I made $435.30 in revenue minus fees and taxes equals $288.58 in my bank account, which means for my first full year, I made $442 after fees and taxes. The real question is, did I really make any money?
What do you mean? What do you mean?
Now I got you thinking. Let's not forget that I have to pay for tools in order for me to run my business. So that includes the courses that I had to pay, my market research tool, my AI image generator, and the tool that I use to upscale and remove background. I have not accounted those expenses just yet, so we're gonna make this video a little bit more interesting. And just a side note, all Etsy related fees that's already been accounted, so we're not gonna think about all the Etsy related fees. For the membership course and other standalone courses, I spent, this is for the whole year. Actually, this only was from September to, I believe, April, May. I spent $145.05. For my market research tool, I spent $315.40. You can already tell that we're going to be a little bit short, but this is going to be interesting. For my AI image generator, I spent $581.80. And finally, for my image upscaling and background removal tool, I spent $186.46. In total, my business expenses for the first full year is $1,228.71. So if we do the math, I received $442 in my bank account minus $1,228.71. That means I ended my first year with a net loss of $786.71. Basically, I spent more than I earned. So I did not really make any money from my Etsy shop this year. You know, I was kind of hesitant to share this, but I'm like, I've already shared with you my month to month update. Like, we're just gonna go all in. So this is it. It's kind of embarrassing. Like, I'm gonna be honest with you, I'm kind of embarrassed. I'm like, dang, I was kind of expecting a good outcome, a really great outcome, but also I realized that this is reality, this is business. But from what I've read, it is actually pretty common for new businesses to have a net loss in their first year. Or maybe I'm just trying to console myself here. Anyway, I'm just gonna think about it as a part of the process because I did learn a lot this year, and one of them was to track your expenses. In my first year, I was only focused on tracking how much I was earning, though I did think about tracking my business expenses. I did not do it, or I avoided it because I was scared that it might discourage me. I mean, numbers don't lie, right? But looking back, I wish I had been more aware because knowing where your money goes is just as important as knowing how much you make. Even though I didn't make a profit this year, I see it as the year I built my foundation, not only in selling digital products, but also business in general. I know it can be discouraging seeing the numbers not where you want them to be, but that's part of starting something new. I still believe this will grow, so if you're also in your first year and things aren't really adding up yet, I hope you stick with your own journey too. We will get there one digital product at a time. I hope you found this video helpful. If you did, please give it a thumbs up, subscribe if you haven't already, and let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in my next one. Bye!